Hello everyone, just doing an audio test. That'll do. Hello! So, excellent, good. Hello and welcome everybody. Hope everybody's doing alright on this fine Tuesday morning. We currently have 37 whole individual human beings currently tuned in. Oh, 38, there we go. Alright. I have to say, attendance has dropped off somewhat precipitously. But that's okay, I imagine a lot of people are watching them after the fact. I could actually check my viewage statisticos to verify that information, but, I mean, that sounds an awful lot like work, doesn't it? Anyway, so, let me just close that. There we go. So, let's see if we can polish off this topic today. That is a reasonable goal, considering we're a little bit behind still. Just like most of the rest of the semester, we're still a little bit behind in terms of the lecture material, so let's see if we can get through this today. So, commonly used formats. We were talking about file formats. We're going to go through CSV files, JSON files, and XML files. That's comma-separated value, JavaScript object notation, and extensible markup language. So let's talk about CSV files. CSV file. A CSV file is a plain text format for storing tabular data. It is commonly used for importing or exporting spreadsheets between applications, although it's also used for various databasing applications, and basically anytime you want tabular data in a plain text format, CSV is what you want to go for. CSV has a number of advantages over something like an Excel file, right? Specifically because it doesn't have all of the extra bells and whistles related to formula and formatting and all of that kind of stuff. When it comes to reading a file simply and easily, all of those formatting options and all of the advanced formula mechanics that are available in an Excel file, that's fine if you're going to be doing things inside of an Excel environment. But if you want to be able to do something outside of an Excel environment, all of those formatting options are just going to get in the way. Imagine trying to write a program to interpret all of those different formatting options. It would be a pain in the butt. It would be a huge pain in the keister. That's why plain text formats, although they're like very basic, they still are useful to this day in terms of, common usage. So, for example, when we export your grades from Jupyter Hub into, and then we import those grades into Avenue, the grades in the intermediary are being stored in a CSV file. We can also get Avenue to export CSV gradebooks that hypothetically can be interpreted by Mosaic. Although, Mosaic is not so good at reading certain types of things. It requires a lot of manual verification to make sure that nothing went wrong in the conversion process, because Mosaic is Mosaic, and Mosaic is terrible, as I'm sure all of you are aware. But, yeah, when we are transferring this type of tabular data from one place to another, CSV files are the type of file that we use, generally speaking. Might be better after calculus test. Yes, probably. If we're behind, does that mean no SQL? No, we'll probably get to SQL. It'll probably mean the degree to which we cover machine learning. There's like an extended topic on machine learning. If we're going to eat into anything, it'll be that. Could your program convert Excel files to CSV for you? Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Excel will convert an Excel file to a CSV file for you. You can export as a CSV file, I'm pretty sure. But, oh, don't even get me started on how terrible Mosaic is, like, honestly. Yeah. 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 But yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get Excel to directly export a CSV file for you. So anyway, CSV files. In a CSV file, it is basically just a spreadsheet file, but everything is separated with commas, and there's no alignments, unless you put the alignments in yourself. Each line of the file is a data record. Each record of the file contains multiple fields separated by commas. You can optionally have a header row containing field names, though that's not, strictly speaking, required. And there is no single and the other thing about these is that there's no single standard definition for a CSV file. Sometimes you run into compatibility problems, but generally speaking, that's mostly down to people using different types of characters instead of a comma in a comma-separated value file. One would think, since comma is in the name, everybody would be on the same page with respect to this, but it turns out not so much. So let me see if I can find a CSV file for you guys somewhere. Yeah, this is one of my favorites, sillywords.csv. This was a, I believe this one is appearing on the practice exam. Ooh, no, I don't want to, I want to open it with get it. Come on, man. There we go. So, there was an exam. I gave the class this CSV file and an algorithm for computing whether a word is the funniest word or not. Basically, you'd use these things to calculate a score, and then whichever word got the highest score, that was the funniest word. This list of words is like generated from a website that uses English phonemes to create words that sound like they should be English but don't actually exist in the English language, like begrasly and sitiation and serpting. It's just fun. Some of these, forbithion, it's kind of funny. Anyway, you know, so this is a CSV file. This one has a header row. Bloop. There we go. And I think I'm just going to copy that into a directory for working with code here so we can do some. Hello. I took the opportunity while the stream was resetting to grab a certain little kitten. let's just make sure everything is cool. Hello, Remy. Say hello to the internet. Hello, internet. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Cool. Everything seems to be in order then. So, anyway, where were we? Hopefully that doesn't happen again. That was actually the second time I noticed that the stream was terrible immediately before starting, and I already reset the router once today, so I hope I don't have to do it again. Jeez. But anyway, so now that we have familiarized ourselves with the format, fun fake fact, the cat is also a professor. Ha! Yes. Professor of microcutology. So, anyway, here is another example of a CSV file. Let's say we have last name, first name, MAC ID, and marks for assignment 1 and 2. This is how this would be encoded in a CSV file. These are all fake students, so, yeah. At least I think they're fake. Bob Jones sounds like a fake name to me. So, if we wish to read a CSV file into a Python script, we would be well advised to use the actual library that's designed for reading CSV files into Python scripts. This sounds basic. Cat hair. Ugh. This sounds basic, but you'd be surprised how many people skip this step or forget about this step. You want to import CSV. That's the first thing. Now, rather than do a regular read, which just gives us the contents of the file in raw string format, we can actually invoke csv.reader in order to read in the CSV file in a manner that makes more sense given the data and the contents of the file. So let's try it. What do we got here? What is it? Sillywords.csv. That's the name of the file we want to read. With open sillywords.csv in read mode as file handle. Ugh, there it is. Terrible. That's the thing about having cats. We want words is equal to csv.reader file handle. Then, once we have that, we can see what words is in terms of Python. What kind of object it is. Python 3, CSV stuff.py. So, if we try to print words directly, what we're given is that we have a CSV reader object at a particular memory address. So obviously we know that Python is using classes in order to encapsulate this data, and this happens to be a class for which the string conversion method is undefined, because it's doing the default class thing. However, CSV reader objects are iterable, which means that we can for loop over them. For line in words. Print line. Let's see what that does. Syntax error. One has forgotten one's colon. There. So you can see that as we iterate over the lines of the CSV file, each one of these lines is being stored as a string, as a list of strings. So, despite the fact that 60 and 24 in this case are integer values, and true and false are Boolean values. They are not being interpreted as such. They are being interpreted merely as strings. If you wish to interpret those as integers, that is up to you, the programmer. Python, while Python is wildly intelligent compared to many lower-level languages, this is one thing it can't do for you, is decide what data format your data should be in. But since this is in the form of a list of it's a sequence of lists of strings, we can, for example, pull out one particular argument of it and just print all that. We can manipulate the data in any way that we wish, given our normal means of access of these types of data structures. Looking for questions. What does R do? R opens the file in read mode. If you specify an R, that's read mode. If you specify a W, that's write mode. So there you go. Bloop. Bloop. So this is fine. This is good. There is, however, an alternative means of doing this. What? Meow! Sorry. If your CSV file has a header row that contains labels, you can perform an alternative reading. You can use an alternative reading function to read it in as a dictionary rather than as lists. So this creates a bunch of dictionaries where the keys are all of the headers that are in the CSV file, and the values are all of the elements of that particular record. This might make a little more sense when we actually try it. Let me just get rid of this, though. That'll help. There we go. So you can see it's actually an ordered dictionary, which means that it's basically, that's a subtype of dictionary that also has ordering information over it as well as regular information, but we can convert to normal dictionary easily enough by casting. There you go. So you can access each of these by name, usage, rating, and royal assent, which are the headers illustrated here. There you go. Question. If we specify W mode only, can we still read the contents? Well, I'm pretty sure there is an RW mode, which is read and write, so I think if you open it in write mode, you can't read. This will be a decent test of that. Let's take a look. Yeah, unsupported IO.unsupported operation, not readable. If you try to read from a file that you are opening only in write mode, then it don't work. How about RW? Read write. Does this work? Value error. Must have exactly one of create read write append mode. Nope, that doesn't work either. Okay, there you go. So, you read or you write, not both at once. That's how the universe works. Cool. So, in order to write a CSV file, let's say we wanted to take in this data, perform some manipulation over it, and then write it back in. For instance, let's say we wanted to change the words so that they're in all caps. Right? These are all in lowercase. Let's change it to uppercase. With open new words.csv in write mode as file handle. Remember, file handle is deallocated once we have exited the with block, so that there's no namespace conflict for using it twice. First, we have to actually perform the manipulation over the data that we want to do. So let's, rather than printing it, let's do it here. So for line in words, line name, is it name or is it word? It is name, is equal to line at name dot to upper, I think. I think that works. Let's comment this out and see if that works before we move any further. Oh, that's the wrong. Kabloom! Yep, that works. Maybe. Or maybe we should also print it to see if that works. Can we get any manipulation to work? So I'm gonna, this is good, this is learning, right? Let's make data into a list, an empty list, for line in data, or for line in words, data is equal to data plus, we are going to append that line. We can then print data, see if we get what we want. Empty. Oh, I bet I blew out this. Let's try that again. Cat silly words.csv. Yeah, it's empty. What the heck, man? We were messing around. That's the answer. Good gravy. Maybe this is unnecessary then. Or maybe it isn't. There we go, it's back in. And there we go. Okay, so manipulations do work. So let's try to upper. Let's cast them as regular dictionaries as well. Oh, right, got it. I flipped my flippy operators there. All right. Cool. All right. So we got the list of dictionaries. String has no attribute to upper. Maybe it's a to upper there? Something like that. To upper is not defined. Oh my goodness. Python to uppercase. Oh, W plus? Okay. Oh, just upper, not to upper. Okay. Bloop. Let's try this again. Nope. There we go. We have accomplished that. Good, good, good. So now that we've done the thing that we were meaning to do with the data, we can write that data back into a CSV file. Oh my goodness. So, grades, or let's say new file is equal to csv.writer file handle. So what this line does is it sets up a new file handle which interprets everything as that you give. It has a bunch of special methods in it specifically for writing stuff into CSV files. So grades.write row for line in data, grades, or not grades, new file handle, write row line dot values. And we'll see what that does. Let's try executing it. Oh, we're still printing all kinds of stuff. So let's take a look. ls, we have newwords.csv. Let's take a look inside that file. And there it is. All of our data has been capitalized. There you go. Ta-da! Performing those types of manipulations is extremely testable. If your data is already represented as a list of lists, then you can write it out all at once. You can write rows plural. So let's see what it does with dictionaries. Maybe it has a dict reader as well. New file handle dot write rows data. Apparently that's a... Okay. Ha! It's just writing the keys. That's funny. So, that doesn't really work, but let's see if it has a dict writer. So it needs a positional argument field names. So let's give it data 0 dot keys. There you go. You can use dict writer as well, even though that's not in the slides. Ta-da! Bloop. Let me see if you have any questions. What if you what if you use or to char instead of convert? Sure. Yeah. What does to upper do? Nothing. It doesn't exist. Upper exists, but it takes all of the characters and flips them to uppercase if they have an uppercase. To upper in C is to upper is C stuff. Yeah. Yes, it is. But you may hopefully you'll forgive me for that minor slip up. So, a few complications. Number one, if you want to write something to a CSV file that contains commas, then you have to you have to delimit it in quotes. The CSV reader will automatically handle that. Accented characters, other alphabet characters, or emojis can be tricky, especially when trying to exchange between Excel and other programs. People sometimes use other delimiters instead of commas. Sometimes we use tabs, tab-separated values, vertical bars, or spaces, though generally speaking, commas are like the go-to and the best option. If you wish, you can download CSV files from these sources. There are also a couple on Avenue that you can check out. So let's talk about JavaScript object notation. This is originally a subset of the JavaScript programming language for representing objects. It is now an language-independent plaintext format for representing dictionaries, lists, lists of dictionaries, dictionaries of lists, dictionaries of lists of dictionaries, etc., etc., etc. Basically, a JSON file has a hierarchical structure that is composed of lists and dictionaries. Oh my god, it's not snowing. Oh my god, it's snow. Okay. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but guys, hello. There we go. Are we here? All right. Look. It's snowing. I don't know if you guys can see that in the feed, but it is totally snowing out there. There you go. My god. Alright. It's like, come on, prof, just do the fricking lesson. It's like, sorry, folks. I get excited about things. Okay. Alright. That one was totally my fault. Okay. Anyway. So, it's kind of interesting because the assignment files themselves, the .ipynb files that are used in your, for the assignments, those are JSON files. So we can actually take a look at a JSON file. Let me see if I can find a .ipynb file. An old test one, sure. Here we go. So this is an Emax, which is a different thing. But so at the top level, this thing is a dictionary. It's then got a bunch of these tags. So we've got the dictionary contains a number of cells. That cell is a list. So there is a list of cells. Those cells have different cell types. All of these types of things, metadata, etc., etc. The source is the actual contents of the file of the cell that you see in the Jupyter notebook, and there's a bunch of other miscellaneous metadata that's attached to these things. But the overall theme is that we've got a dictionary that contains lists and dictionaries, but this could also be a list at the top level. Doesn't matter. So, the basic format is, the format for dictionaries and lists is the same as it is in Python. So dictionaries are enclosed in curly braces, lists are enclosed in square braces. Every key is a quoted string, though. So in Python, you can have any data type be the key to a dictionary, but in a JSON file, it has to be a string. The value can be any kind of entry. Every entry can be either a list, a dictionary, a number, int, or float. That should say float. A string enclosed in quotation marks, a boolean, true or false, or a null value. So here's an example. You remember our data policy that we were trying to enforce with respect to classes last time. This is what that would look like inside of a JSON file. Spaces, white space, etc., is actually irrelevant inside of a JSON file, so you don't have to worry about it. You can format your stuff however you please. It doesn't really matter. If you want to read a JSON file into a Python script, the procedure is slightly different from a CSV file. You perform a regular read operation, and then you take that resulting string and you call json.loads after you import JSON. Import the JSON library. This parses the string and creates the corresponding data structure. So if we want to do that, let's actually do that over t1.ipynb. Boink. There we go. And we can also just print X to see what the format is. Print S and print S. X. There we go. So you can looks like it's transferring data. Are we back? Are we back? Hello? Have we returned? Hello? Hello? Looks like we might be back. No. I cannot answer your assignment question in chat. Oh, well, maybe you can. Maybe I can. Has a fix for the VPN been found? It doesn't work with the new macros update, and I already updated. Talk to UTS. You always have the option of downloading directly and performing the assignment on your own local installation of Jupyter. Sorry, I thought you meant like a very technical question about one of the questions themselves. Ugh, alright. Well, I don't think that that's useful. What? No! Oh, okay. Oy. Alright. I think that's as much as we can get done today. PTSD. Yeah, okay, well, it's kind of interesting because, like, I had these issues kind of sorted out. Turned out that I'm actually, like, this is going to sound weird, but my internet signal was way too strong, so they had to, like, put a resistor into the line. They sent me, like, a little resistor that I plug into the back of the router itself, because, like, I'm apparently the only person on my block that, or, like, in my block of internet users, it's like, cosmic punishment, yeah. I'm the only household that's using the internet, apparently, or something. I'm the only person on this subsystem, so the signal was just way too strong because it wasn't being split among other households, so I needed this resistor thing. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the huge blackouts that we had on Sunday, but... Anyway, I got another class to get to. Thank you very much for, you can see from the graph here, how interrupted our stream has been today. So, Blumenek. We'll continue this on Thursday. Thanks, guys.